In the deep shadows of Christiansborg Palace in Denmark lies a ruby ring that never found its rightful owner. It was meant to crown a fairy tale romance in Northern Europe, yet it turned into half a century of sorrow and tears. History often casts the gentlest souls into the cruelest fate, leaving them broken little by little. Tonight, by the soft glow of the fireplace, let us walk through the life of this remarkable woman. Maria Feodorovna, the name echoed through Russian snows for 50 years, once was just Dagmar, a carefree maiden by the Danish coast. Known widely as the sorrowful mother of the last Tsar Nicholas II and sister of Britain's Queen Alexandra, she endured a tragic destiny rooted in an enviable royal engagement. She was betrothed to the gentle Russian Crown Prince Nicholas, only to watch her beloved waste away from illness before their wedding. On his deathbed, the dying prince took her hand and placed it into that of his younger brother. Alexander III, rough and reserved, thus inherited his brother's fiancée as well as the heavy imperial crown. From that moment on, Dagmar became Maria, bound forever to the fall of the Romanov dynasty. The night is quiet and the wind soft. Close your eyes and listen to the sighs of the last empress trapped in gilded cages and icy exile. In the spring of 1865, sea breezes swept through Nice, yet could not chase away the breath of death in the sickroom. Dagmar knelt beside her frail fiancé Crown Prince Nicholas, with whom she had dreamed of future reforms and poetic days in Russia. Tuberculosis swiftly took his life, shattering the grand political dream of the Danish royal family. His younger brother Alexander stood silently by, never expecting to become heir to the throne. With his last strength, the prince joined Dagmar's hand with Alexander's, begging his brother to cherish and marry her. A year later, Dagmar sailed away from Copenhagen, carrying a farewell poem written by Hans Christian Andersen. Full of confusion, she headed for the cold and scheming Russian Empire. After converting to Orthodox faith and donning grand royal robes in St. Petersburg, she bid farewell to her free youth forever. On their wedding night, Tsar Alexander III treated her with quiet kindness. United by grief over the late prince, they lived side by side with tender companionship rather than passionate love. The Winter Palace in St. Petersburg was a magnificent maze of gold and marble, yet colder inside than the freezing outdoors. Graceful and sincere, Maria soon won favor among the Russian nobility. She once believed compliance could brighten the empire's future. In 1881, an assassination bombing claimed the life of Alexander II, filling Maria and her husband with deep fear of revolution. The royal family moved to the isolated Gatchina Palace under strict military guard. Her eldest son Nicholas II grew up in this oppressive atmosphere, and Maria often worried about his overly mild personality. She tried hard to teach him how to rule, yet even she sensed the tragic fate flowing in Romanov blood. Peaceful days did not last long. In 1894, strong-willed Alexander III passed away from chronic illness, leaving Maria heartbroken. Young Nicholas II ascended the throne in panic, lacking confidence in governing the nation. Maria stood firmly behind her son to stabilize the shaky regime, yet conflicts arose after Nicholas married Princess Alix of Hesse. Maria foresaw that her eccentric and superstitious daughter-in-law would bring disaster to the dynasty. She repeatedly advised her son to make political compromises, but Nicholas always chose to side with his wife. As Rasputin began to interfere in state affairs, Maria felt utterly helpless despite all her earnest persuasion. In the spring of 1917, the 300-year-old Romanov dynasty finally crumbled. Hearing of her son's abdication, Maria rushed to meet him for their last reunion. Nicholas appeared relieved to step down, yet Maria knew abdication meant fatal danger for the imperial family. She was soon confined in a villa in Crimea. In July 1918, the entire imperial family was executed in Ekaterinburg. Refusing to accept the bitter truth, Maria insisted it was nothing but rumors for the rest of her life, clinging to faint hope. In 1919, British warships arrived to rescue Maria amid approaching wars. She insisted on taking away stranded wounded soldiers before boarding the ship, bidding a final farewell to Russia where she had lived for over 50 years. She stayed briefly in London with her elder sister, yet could not bear the sympathetic stares from others. Eventually she returned to her hometown Copenhagen, bringing along 2 wooden boxes filled with royal jewels and precious old memories. In late autumn 1928, 81-year-old Maria passed away peacefully in her mansion. Till her last breath, she never acknowledged her son's death, holding on to hope as her spiritual support. Her passing marked the end of an old European era built on royal marriages and noble glory. Inside her boxes lay not treasures for restoration, but a mother's deepest memories of her children. All past glories and sorrows faded away with time. Let all stories rest in the quiet night, relax your mind and enjoy a peaceful sound sleep.